Perfect. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for sticking around for Saturday morning. We'll try and keep this crisp and at the appropriate level for recovering from last night's activities. Quick question for the crowd. Who here has been in one of these before? Couple. That's more than I was expecting. I actually have never been in one, but I've always wanted to, and I love the analogy. And one of the things that's incredibly important when you're in an 8-man shell like this is coordination, working together, and alignment. And if you're sitting there figuring out, who's getting credit for what, who's doing the most, you're going to end up being one of these boats in the back and getting crushed by the teams that are working seamlessly together. And we think that's the same thing that's going on in digital marketing. What's that?
The seventh man is always the best.
Always the best. That's is that search? No, we think the same thing's happening in digital marketing. You guys are all working on big teams, and if you're not aligned on your teams, if you're not starting with alignment, you're starting at the wrong spot. Why is this so important today? Well, if you look at where users are spending their time, who's captured their attention, it's remarkable what Facebook and Google have done. They're eating the world in terms of share, with roughly 75% of user time spent between Facebook and Google properties today. If you go back just a few years ago, the first time I came to this summit, Google they were only at a 50% share, with Google capturing the lion's share of that. So you could focus your time on the search world and get most of your results. Now today, with the customer going seamlessly between Google and Facebook on their journey, you need to be having these two channels work seamlessly together. Now, to be fair, that other 25%, there's plenty of opportunity out there. You don't want to ignore it. You don't want to ignore that. But if you don't have alignment between your search and social programs, that's where you're going to be. You're starting on the wrong spot. So, the funnel metaphor is still somewhat relevant, although getting a little bit tricky with the convoluted customer journey. It used to maybe be thought of like this, where you've got Facebook at the top of the funnel, Google getting the last click, people searching and converting on that. But that's really not the case today. What you see is a sophisticated suite of products up and down the funnel, extending from initial awareness with video on YouTube, things like that, all the way through conversion, and then even extending past conversion. How do you retain those customers? How do you re-engage them? How do you increase lifetime value? And so you want to make sure that you've got a strategy that's got these aligned across the channels, that you're thinking not in terms of what do I do in search, what do we do in social, but put the customer at the center of this and figure out what you're trying to accomplish. And of course, we'll help you bridge that, but we're in the middle there. An example of how you can do this is you're thinking about planning your budgets. Think about the stages of the funnel. How do you want to drive awareness? What percentage of your budget should be allocated to developing awareness with new customers? Not what percentage should be allocated to search or social. That should cut across both. Similarly, down at the bottom of the funnel, post-conversion, what do you want to do to maintain existing customers? What do you want to do to expand them, increase customer lifetime value? These percentages are just an example. Every business is going to be slightly different depending on where you are, what your goals are. But the key thing here is think horizontally, not vertically across search and social. Similarly, once you've set your objectives, you should think about, or your budget allocation, think about the objectives differently in each of those. So you shouldn't be looking at, what is my CPA on search, what is my CPA on social, but if I'm trying to drive awareness, what is my cost per engagement for those top of funnel video views, whether it's on YouTube or on Facebook. If I'm trying to drive conversion, it may be a CPC type metric, but it really varies, and it should be aligned with those objectives, again, cutting across search and social efforts. The second big thing that I think is important to think about in terms of alignment is how you use audiences. On the social side, the primary way you're reaching out to your customers, targeting your customers, is through audience. And that's something that's becoming increasingly important in the search world as well. You've got great ability to customize your message, get the right message to the right people using these audiences, yet not everybody's doing this in search yet. When we look across our customer base, we've only got about 25% of the spend that we manage that have a linked audience to it. And that's something that we think is a huge opportunity. It's something that Google is pushing to help drive performance. And we see incredible results. One of the easiest things that you can do if you want to go home on Monday and have something that you can change start linking some of the audiences that you've got, whether it's a retargeting audience, whether it's a customer match that you put up there, and just look at the, you don't have to set a different bid for that audience. Just look at the performance and see if you're seeing different performances. And if you are, you can start bidding separately on those audiences. The next step, of course, beyond measurement, is to start tailoring the messages to those audiences. So great opportunities with RLSAs to do things like upsell existing customers. If somebody's coming to you on a brand term that you know they're already a customer, show them another product that they can come to. All kinds of interesting plays around audiences that we're doing on social, but we haven't necessarily transferred over to search. And that's another area that we should have alignment. A more advanced technique with audiences is actually using signals across channels. So a capability that we have is called search intent. And what this lets you do is take the keyword that people came in on the search side and use it to automatically build an audience in social. So if you have people coming in on your brand term versus somebody who's coming in on a generic category term, you may want to treat them very differently in how you message them if you go after them in retargeting. And so we can set up, based on the different categories in your business, you can automatically set up audiences on the Facebook side to enable that messaging. And this can be used both for retargeting in the social world, but it can also be used with the lookalike capabilities to go after prospecting with new customers with those lookalikes. Really cool technique, and what we see for our clients who are doing this, we've got 5 or 6 case studies published on our website, is 30 to 70% conversion rate improvements for our clients who are using search intent to inform their social campaigns. So their social campaigns are that much more effective. And then the last part around alignment is making sure you've got the measurement right. There's a lot of talk about attribution. Aaron just showed the importance of search within that omni-channel campaign. One thing that people often spend a lot of time to, or they don't realize when you're thinking about attribution, there's 2 big components to it. Step 1, you got to get the right data together. And then step 2 is you think about what is the model. And we think a lot of people jump over that first step. So these are some slides that we presented on a webinar with Facebook earlier this year. And the message here is data is the foundation for constructing the right path to conversion. So if you look at a typical customer path today, you're bouncing back between devices, cutting across search and social. And we're in a world where I see laptops, I see phones, there's tablets. We all know how many devices that were being used. There's some stats here. 50% of people use 3 or more devices. 41% are starting on one device and finishing on another. And so if you're not accounting for that in how you're tracking the performance across channels, you're going to be missing out on data and making bad decisions. But the other aspect of this is the publishers, Google and Facebook, both have great tools for looking at cross-channel and doing multi-touch attribution, but they're focused within their walled gardens. And so, this is what in this sample customer journey, this is what Facebook would see. They wouldn't have the cross-device understanding of what was going on other computers. If you look at it from the Google perspective, you wouldn't see what's going on with Facebook. And with the rise of video, those views are such a huge part of the impact that you can have with social, and it's important to have those as part of your customer journey. So we worked with Facebook to put together a solution called TruePath that brings these together. So we take impression-level cross-device data from Facebook, stitch it together with what we see on the search side, and we can track other channels in addition to search to give you the entire customer journey. And that's where we think you should be basing your decisions. So Marin is a tool. Our goal is to help you measure, manage, and optimize across channels. We've got a whole suite of things that will help you to sync your search and social campaigns together and really drive the performance. So to recap, 3 things to take away from this morning. Most important thing is to start with alignment. Make sure your team is working together. Make sure that 7th man is pulling his share. Second is making sure that you're leveraging audiences across channels. Use search intent to power social, and make sure you're using the power of audiences within search. And third, make sure you're basing your decisions on complete data. We've captured all of this in the books that you see on your table, so take a read on the flight home, and would love to chat with any of you further on how we can help you drive your success in search and social. Thank you.